And so the quality of that building is not as much as the quality as what you see with Russell or some of these other schools. So you could come down to a point where all the schools kind of go bad at one time. So yes, we are looking at facilities. We are also looking at these facilities because, you know, you look at the high school, no parking, we're busing kids for PE. We're you know, it's not meeting the needs of what the new educational system is designed for. You know, more collaborative work, more work as kids, hands-on work. We have problems, you know, people say, well, why don't you have air conditioning? Because, you know, that's a big concern. I get yelled at about every year if it's a real hot spell at the beginning, because what do? You open your doors, and what have I just done? I have made our schools less safe. I close the doors, they're safe, but they're having heat stroke. So, you know, where I weigh that. So those are the situations that we are dealing with in our, we are blowing, when we're plugging in a fan, we're blowing circuits in our facilities. You know, so, you know, we got Russell that's leaking. I mean, yes, it's a beautiful building. You know, I would, do we want to tear it down? No. But is it a good educational setting for our students today? I would say no. It is not. We have to move kids that are in wheelchairs because we don't have accessibility in that facility. And you know, as you can tell after our last project, it is probably not the best thing to try to renovate a lot of things, because we got into walls and found stuff that, you know, I still shake my head. You know, you're talking metal frame, you know, they said, well, we got metal studs. I go, wow, you know, I didn't even know they existed back there. You know what they looked like back then? Not the full tin like you see now. It looked like clothes hangers, you know how they twisted? That they're wires with wires going every so many feet. I've never seen something like that. Neither did the construction workers. They're going, oh my God. So yeah, we are looking. We are looking at, I will tell you, we are looking at some land right now, working with, I think, because it's a deal, but I would say, I think people will be very happy with what we're looking at. We're hoping to have purchased that without a bond. That's our goal. So that's not part, but yeah, that is the big elephant. But I got to take care of this levy right now, because that's our daily costs, and that I'm hoping, I can't say that. I have to, you know, I'm supposed to be neutral. I can't even, I'm not even allowed to put a sign in my front yard. So,
Does that make sense?
yeah. Well, they just, you know, we're information, so I just want to make sure that I'm informational only, so stop me if I, yes.
Going back to your conversation a little bit about school safety, are you receiving any directives from the legislature on what you're supposed to be doing regarding school safety? Is that all at the individual district level? Are you having to manage that on your own? Are they appropriating any funds to make schools safer?
I can talk about this because this isn't I will tell you that I was very frustrated with our state superintendent when she started this Keep It Simple, or it's the KISS program, it's Keep Idaho Students Safe. Because one of the things that she was going to do is give $20,000 per school to have an armed person in their school. SRO officer cost with benefits and everything is about roughly $90,000. So that's $70,000 that, you know, would come to me. And Because every community member would hear her and say, oh, everybody's gonna have an armed guard. And where are they? And I would be, well, we can't afford it. Oh, no, you got the money from the state. And so that was not a good plan. The other thing they wanted is to hire a person for the whole state to be the communication person in case of threat. I have a very good relationship with our chief of police, as well as our fire department, as well as Brittman Hospital. We have worked very hard on having a process in place. I don't want someone coming from Boise and trying to tell us what to do in the sense of, you know, in those types of situations. And so, have they provided us any funds right now? No. I'm hoping they will provide funds. That's what I would like to see them do, and say, you have this many kids, this is how much we'll give you per child count. And let the local people make the decision of where best to use those money.
As a follow-up to that question, does the sheriff's department and/or the police department have officers or employees within their offices that have school resource officers, for lack of a better word?
Well, that's who we hire through. We go through the city police, as well as Chief Wright wants his personnel to be very involved in the schools. So he is now going to also assign each officer a school on their duties to just stop in. And, you know, say hi, walk in, all friendly, just to work, you know, to get to know the school, which I want them in the school as much as possible, because when we say there's a shooter in so-and-so's classroom, you know, they know where that's at. So, you know, someone asked, well, would you have let them do practices in there? When we're not in, I would love for them to use our facilities, because the more they use our facilities, the more they get to know the layout, and the safer we are.
I
So,
would point out, I have seen their officer in the high school.
yeah.
I go there every week.
Yeah, and they're, you know, Mackenzie's awesome.
They just wander
She's just
around.
really nice, you know, and she's there and tries to, you know, just walk the halls and get to know the kids, and that's what we want. We want them to feel, you know, that they're safe. My number one issue in these schools is not the education. It's for the kids to be safe. Number two, that they feel a sense of belonging. Number three, a good educational program. 4, extra activities, you know, as much as possible. And 5, that they're a good citizen when they leave. I'll tell you, in that role, because if you ask most parents, those are, you know, would you put your kid in a school that is academically really well, but your chance of your child getting hurt is pretty high? I don't think you would. So that's why education is not the number one. So, other questions? I can talk forever, so I don't know the time in that, but, oh, thank you. So we're getting close to the time. If you have, yeah.
But I saw on the, if the supplement doesn't pass, one of the things you guys mentioned was reducing, and I might botch this word, certificated in classified positions. So what are some of those kind of examples?
Those are teachers. Well, the teachers and paraprofs.
Okay.
And those, it's just, all staff would be, you know, we'd have to look at programs, see what programs that aren't required, and possibly have to reduce those.
Okay.
Those are one thing. Extracurricular activities would be, you know, another thing. Trying to maintain these facilities as they are would be reduced. You know, 1.9 million, that's a lot of things that you would be having to cut back. You know, and it wouldn't be the right away because this tax doesn't take effect for, you know, not till a year from now, a year from December, January. So we, you know, have another time to go back and say, we please rethink this. But it's, yeah, we have to start looking at reductions. Yes.
What percentage vote do you need to pass this?
This one, all I need is 50% plus one of people that come out to vote. You know, it's, yes.
I would point out that Moscow is fortunate in of the 115 school districts in the state.
160.
Almost half of them have now eliminated one or more of the following: art,
Yeah.
music, PE, librarians, counselors. We actually have a couple that have eliminated all 5 of those program areas.
Yeah, a lot of schools are, and I'll tell you, not when I was superintendent, but when I was in the school district in Graysville, we didn't pass the levy once. We had to cut. We cut all extracurricular activities. We cut quite a few of the academic programs. We cut hot lunch program. First one in the nation to do that, you know, to cut hot lunch. You talk about painful, not just painful for families, but economic. Families were moving quickly out of town because they were going, there's no way I want my kids to deal with that. You'll see a major dive in your community. So it's, you know, I had to run a supplemental every single year because we didn't have it indefinite. Moscow is unique of having that indefinite levy. Thank you. Because I'm not spending 5 months of the school year trying to encourage people to pass a levy. I'm not going to people every single year and say, if this doesn't pass, you're not going to have a job. We can long-term plan in this community, which is really helpful for us, and I think that's helped us a lot. So that's been really appreciated. Yes.
My original understanding was that the 1.9 million was going to be used primarily for building back up the reserve fund to keep it for a 2-month reserve.
It helps do that, yes.
But with the reduction in the funding formula, are you going to end up more with a wash and have to come back in 2 or 3 years and ask for more?
There could be a possibility. I mean, that's why I want to fight this as hard as possible, because it's, you know, I can't make money. They told me it's illegal. So, yeah, this is news. This just came out. So this was before we you know, determined the amount and what we needed as, you know, for a school district. So yeah, it's going to hit us really hard. And we either have to reduce programs or come back to the taxpayer. I'm hoping we can get the legislators to reconsider. It's really maddening when the report last year came out. They did a survey of quite a few people in this state, and people said the taxes are okay as they are now. You know, don't increase them, but we're okay with the taxes. And they gave that $200 million, you know, cut in taxes when we're still in need. Education is still in need, and not just K-12, universities too. I mean, it's just throughout to give that, you know, to make those cuts, it just, you know, why? The facilities, that bond, that's a bond, that will be, that's the supermajority. You know, so that's 67%. The state of Idaho is probably the hardest one to pass in that, because not only is it a supermajority, but the state doesn't, you know, provide much funding for that. Most states, if they go supermajority, the state will match the dollars, which entices them. Or they have less than the supermajority to pass if they don't support it. Ours don't support it and cause supermajority, so they make it really difficult. That's why you're seeing new facilities in the bigger cities, but you look at look how long Troy took to get theirs passed. But we're getting surrounded by schools that are a lot nicer, with Lewiston School District building their new school. Pullman is on their second new school since I was out of high school. So Pullman keeps building new schools. Troy built a new school a few years back. Logos is building their new school. The charter school out here is building a new school. It's time. It's time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
Yeah,
very much
thank
for
you.
being with